And we're back. Welcome back to the evolution of the machine gun part 2. Last time we went over the cart gun as well as the universals. Today we'll be going over the squad automatic weapons as well as a channel announcement. If you're just here for the channel announcement, look in the description. There should be a timestamp down there for you to go to. It's something I think you guys will greatly enjoy, and I'm very excited for what's upcoming. We also have other stuff planned, but the logistics of those is in the works. So, with that in mind, please enjoy the video. And here we go. This is the antithesis. This is the end. These aren't really so much more of an upgrade. They're more of like a offshoot of the machine gun. These are the saws or squad automatic weapons. Typically, proper machine guns, your M240s, your M60s, are on the platoon level. These are typically on the squad level. Well, these are, it's in the name, squad automatic weapon. These are machine guns that don't fire large caliber, full-size rifle caliber ammunition. They fire intermediate. For example, the M249 SAW, which is in service by the U.S., uses
5.56.
Yeah,
5.56.
they use 5.56. They use 5.56, and they use just intermediate cartridges, and its ability for you to put a lot of rounds downrange and to have a more of a nimble source of automatic weapon.
Nimble, more accurate. A single man can take care of it.
Mm-hmm. There's actually a backpack design that I think the U.S. military is working on, where I'm just not even joking. It's just a can of your entire back is a can of ammunition, and it feeds directly into your saw.
Oh, they've had it for a while. The problem is soldiers don't want to use it. I completely understand why.
No, I get that, but they're talking about like implementing it now.
Those soldiers are not gonna like that one bit.
And here's the thing. I don't see that as an entirely bad thing, because I'm not saying like screw you, the soldier. I'm just saying it's going to make you more pissed off when you encounter the enemy, so much so that you want to go home faster. So now you're facing down the wrath of an angry grunt, a professional alcoholic athlete who wants to go home now because he's carrying an entire backpack full of ammunition.
I mean, that is a bonus. The soldiers don't have, and you don't have to fill the thing all the way.
Yeah, you probably
don't have to.
Or something.
The question is mostly, do squads want this? Is this increasing their effectiveness? And are soldiers sort of consuming more ammo than you save on beat?
Yeah.
The sort of, a few bursts here, a few bursts there, just to light the load a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not like an end of the world thing. I can totally see. Honestly, I can see soldiers wanting to carry that around. In some cases, I mean, not everyone. Not every soldier's like, oh man, I just love carrying extra heavy things. Amazing. I want to carry every conceivable magazine and source of weight that I can physically get my hands on. Yeah. Just to do a 20-mile ruck march.
It's like those mortarmen guys where it's you may think, if you're not, from what I've heard, if you're not a mortarman and you think you can beat a mortarman in a ruck march, God help you, because all you're gonna see is his butt cheeks as he walks off into the distance with relative ease.
Those guys are used to carrying some pretty heavy equipment.
And those guys, and the thing is, God forbid you tell them fire for effect, because all you're going to hear is just thump, 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 and then all of a sudden the enemy position is just gone.
They simply do not exist anymore.
They just want to go home. They just want to go home and just take that mortar off their back. Combat being one excuse and going home is another.
The other thing is, it's kind of weird. Outside of mostly NATO countries, this concept isn't usually belt-fed. I'm not really familiar with a whole lot of the Chinese squad automatic weapons. I know that they had one that they sort of released recently, but I just cannot my brain cannot fathom the Chinese like small arms market. After I've seen like the same bullpup 9 different times, my enthusiasm for researching Chinese firearms is sort of dead.
Yeah.
The other thing is that a lot of countries do have squad automatic weapons, but they're just not belt fed.
Right.
The stuff like PKM, RPK,
We
that a lot
had
of countries have access to. Now,
we had an
no,
image of
sorry, I'm
of a
sorry, PKM's belt fed. I'm sorry,
yeah,
PKM's belt fed.
we had an image of a RPK up here, but it must have not transferred over. But basically all it is really is just AK with longer barrel and stendo mag. And even the Marine Corps has been experimenting with a weapon where it's M4 with longer barrel. Well, actually, probably not even that, just bipod and stendo mag.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Right.
Um, but so for like the Russian military, they use the RPK as a weapon, and occasionally the PKM. I do apologize. PKM is belt fed. Um,
No.
my brain momentarily had a schism, which is normal. I mean, I said that really stupid thing on that one brief about the MiG 28. Famously the jet from Top Gun, and my brain was thinking of I think I was talking about MiG 21 variants, and my brain's like, yeah, the MiG 20, an F5 dressed up to be a MiG, clearly an F-22 variant.
Oh man.
I should be drugging through the streets for that one.
Yep. I agree. but uh but anyways, this is all we have for this is all I have for this slide.
All right.
Alright, so welcome to the end of this brief. Real quick, this is where the channel announcement is, so if you're here for that, welcome. Alright, so we've been doing a series of briefs I called basic briefs wherein I wanted to if I was going to refer back to a video for a concept, it's readily accessible on this channel, and I just wanted to set the standard of like kind of how we stand with military history. So if I say this was during the time of this, refer back to this video, or whichever video that involves this. Statistically and analytically, I have been shown that you all do not so much care for this kind of brief where it's like this one, very short, very oversimplified, because we don't want to go too much into one thing. I'm telling you, this is the end of it. This is the last brief we're going to do on that kind of subject. This is also to fulfill a promise that we to William, one of our subscribers, that he requested that we do shotguns, auto pistols, and machine guns, which we did. We did, obviously, machine guns, that's why you're here. Auto pistols, we did a slide on our service pistol brief, and shotguns was a whole briefing in and of itself. My point being that if you want us to talk about a specific piece of equipment, say the Panzer III-M, or the gyro stabilizer, and the M4 Sherman, or the Chi-30, you want us to do a brief on a piece of equipment, if it's feasible enough, we'll see about doing it. And we will take your advice to heart. We did we did one slide and 2 briefs because one guy wanted us to do that, and we are happy to do them. We want audience engagement, and I'm just letting you know that we're going to go back to our in-depth analysis of weapons, concepts, equipment. So I'm not saying that like, oh, we're back, I'm not saying that. It's more so just that I wanted to set a standard. I've set the standard, so expect the kind of norm for us. From when we started, expect that back.
It'll be more focused on discussion between the individuals. In the call, it'll be a back and forth. This will be talking about stuff. Like me and Ethan, we really, for the most part, our opinions on military technology, they align for the most part. But it's still one of my favorite things to do with him is to just have minor discussions over stuff where, hour and a half conversation on random topic here, hour and a half conversation on random topic there. They're fun to do. And the, hyper specific content is what I think a lot of history people want. They want to know the little nitty gritty details, which is I'm super happy that people want to like learn about the nitty gritty stuff. They don't want to just gloss over it. That makes me happy to hear that. The the plan is to look at the smaller scale stuff and sort of disagree. Not really. It's not really a debate. Just sort of go back and forth on you know hey, the show shot, was it a good rifle, was it not a good rifle, what should they have done differently. Look at the mechanical details, how many they produced, what conflicts they were used in, what are the general thoughts on the weapons, do we know anyone that shot one, what are their thoughts on it.
And general hot takes we have about history, because Lord knows I have plenty.
I have a few. I've heard many that were insanely hot. Like, whoa, that was out of left field.
So I've heard a lot that were. I will continue to say this. Me and Kento here were discussing. This was during the whole the XM5, U.S. Army, U.S. military rifle replacement thing, and And we were discussing the possibility of a potential of a good idea of a 308 M16, like the Sudanese AR-10, full auto AR-10s being an idea and stuff like that. And the guy we were sitting in front of, I'm not even, this actually happened. The guy we were sitting in front of said, the M16, the AR platform is outdated. We should go back to the M14 carbine. And I straight up, I usually don't do that. I usually just don't. I usually am respectful and I try to respect people's opinions on certain things. I laughed so hard I got up and left. I didn't even give that man the time of day at that point, because at that point it's like, no,
Well, didn't you
no,
come
dude.
back? Because me and him were still talking.
Yeah, I came back because you were still there. And anyways, so yeah, we've heard our fair share of hot takes. But anyways, you have anything else to add?
I can't. I don't know if I can share some of them. Some of my favorite ones are stuff along the lines of World War II tanks being able to take out modern MBUs for
I mean,
negligible reasons.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You have some tanks that set standards, but it's like they set the standards, but they didn't. They're not going to be the. Yeah, it's not. That's not how that works.
That's not how that
While
works. That's
it's like technically could happen, the probability is very, very, very slim.
it is basically dependent on the crew of the MBT being completely blind to death.
Being high school gym teachers.
Yes.
Man. Well,
Well, honestly, I'm glad to get back to the nitty gritty stuff. I can't wait to talk about the show shot, go over it, because
the
it
show
is
shot.
it's a very interesting weapon, and its development cycle is so weird. Like we went from point A, just never got to point B. I don't know why. Point B just doesn't exist with that gun.
But we'll get into that on the next brief. And I want to get back to the nitty gritty details. And I loved it when you people would correct me when I said something stupid. For example, on the improvised armor brief, that the lobster cage idea was meant to stop artillery rounds. I got chastised for that one, as I
Dude,
should be.
I was listening to the recording, and I literally stopped the recording, and I had the Jeopardy theme started playing in my head, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? That
I
lobster cage is not
I
gonna stop like.
I knew what it was. I knew what it was for. I just forgot about it, and I tried to. I, and so I my in my head I tried to think about what was the closest thing to it, and I forgot grenades, and I forgot the fact grenades existed. So I was like, so I should be, and you, as you guys did, you lambasted me for that. in the comment section, which you should do. If you think I got something wrong, within reason, you let us know. Let us know that your thoughts on something, your thoughts of your opinions on equipment or the subject at hand, and we love engagement. We do.
Well, the other thing is we just like talking about this stuff. If you no history YouTuber is immune to like making mistakes. If someone makes a mistake, you know, in a reasonable conversation, reasonable manner, just say, "Hey, my sources say otherwise. Hey, I don't think that you're correct." You know, if we say the AR-15 uh, can't fire 22, but a 22 AR-15 does exist. They do exist. And you're just like, no, no, these are the worst YouTubers I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it
Yeah.
might be true, but the thing is, just like give. The important thing is just give information.
Right.
It's one thing to correct someone. It's another thing to you know inform them.
Right. It's
I,
it's
I hate the word educate because people have ruined that word. You
right.
educate them.
Yeah,
It
the term
sounds so
education,
nasty.
it's like the perception of education means you're smart. It's like no, you're just smart. There's a difference between being able to know just how to cheese the system and get through, and knowing what you're talking about.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, so like, if someone slips up with something and you say that you educate them, I'm just saying that the word educate, in like the connotation of anything outside of teachers or professors or stuff like that, it just feels nasty to me.
Yeah,
Like if I educate you, it
it's
gets a little my butterflies, and
it's
not the good kind of
it's
butterflies.
it's like what's not derogatory. It's
Demeaning.
demeaning. That's it. Yep, demeaning.
Yeah,
So but
it's like the whole like idea of lesser, but that's outside of the purview.
so with that in mind, um, comment any ideas on either the show shop brief or on this brief about what you want to see us talk about. We will talk about it if it's reasonable, and we will. And yeah, so with that in mind, thank you for watching. I hope that you're as hyped as I am to get back into the nitty gritty kind of details of history, which I've been wanting to get this little spit of standard set over and done with, so we can get back to what we truly love. But with that said, you know the drill. Get back to work.